So now, talking about that investment opportunities that may be existing in the real estate, especially the tokenized space, that perhaps will be one of the conversations for 2025. Now, we do know that recently the Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria revealed that the death of real estate investment trusts in the market has seen investments in that segment shrink in the past 5 years. This was shared on their Instagram page, official Instagram. And pen-up analysis showed that investment in the real estate industry had declined from a high of 239.28 billion naira. I guess we could say in 2024, every sector was affected. Do we see brighter light in 2025? Let's discuss with the country manager of Red Swan, Mr. Tunde Olasukomi joins us in the studio. Mr. Olasukomi, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so first of all, give us an overview of happenings in the real estate sector in 2024.
All right. Yeah, in 2024, the real estate sector was hit badly. Especially in Nigeria because of the currency devaluation, and additionally the purchasing power of citizens actually dropped. Then the high rate of inflation increased construction costs, materials and the likes. So the office sector and the retail sectors were the two sectors that were majorly hit. That's because companies downsized, reduced their staffs, changed to hybrid pattern, so they don't need the large size of space they were using before. So then on the retail part, we saw some exits in terms of foreign brands that are into hyper retail services, and that's because the purchasing power of people have dropped, so people could actually acquire less luxury. But the advantage in the retail space in 2024 was that we saw the expansion of neighborhood supermarkets that are closer to residents, where people can actually get their grocery. As you know, that the three basic needs of man is shelter, food. So food survival instinct was what was more important in 2024. However, there were some green lights in the hospitality sector. That's when it comes to hotels, short-let apartments. Then also, funnily, the residential sector also witnessed some growth, especially that's the low income and middle income class building. And that's because, urbanization is still growing and people definitely need to stay in apartments. So there was high increase in the lower class of rentals. Then there was a bit of growth also in the data data sections. What that means is that companies, because of the digital economy, so the need for infrastructural development in the data centers sector grew. So we saw a lot of investors, foreign investors coming in. As you know, that the digital economy of Nigeria is becoming larger. So there's need to build data centers that would keep those records. So there were growth in those axes.
Yeah. So there's something I always wonder when it comes to real estate. We just see prices soaring. Even when it does seem like demand is reducing, and even if demand is not reducing, supply is increasing. I mean, if you go to especially highbrow areas, both in Lagos and Abuja, you see a lot of, construction going on, duplexes, more of residential, but it never obeys the simple logic or principle of economics, which is when supply increases, we could see the price reduce. I don't think that affects the real estate.
The constructions you see going on may look large, but actually it's still, the demand still outweighs the supply. As we currently speak, Nigeria has about 20 million housing deficits, and the current pipeline is ridiculously still lower. to satisfy that demand. So though you are seeing construction, but the demand is still very, very high, especially in the urban centers. And as well, some of those units, Abuja is I think the state that has one of the largest supply of housing currently, because day in, day out, you continue seeing development. But however, that supply is still not yet to fill in the demand gap.
And yet we have a lot of unoccupied premises.
Correct. That's correct.
So it doesn't balance out.
Yes, on that, as regards the unoccupied space, there are different classes of residential buildings. So we have the high-end, which is the high-end luxury, the middle income class, then the affordable housing class. So for some of those that are high-end, so there are some form of demand from HNIs, that's high net worth individuals, then institutional investors as well, then mostly the diaspora investors, the one because they have a higher purchasing power because of the exchange rate advantage. So those are those that actually have the capacity to buy and purchase such kind of development in recent times.
So what do you see in 2025? At least the value of the Naira has been kind of stable within a certain range for more than a month now, which is a major driver of construction because most of those things are imported. So what do you see in that space, the real estate space?
Yes, in 2025, we hope that as the economy begins to show some form of improvement, it will have a ripple effect on every other sector, real estate sector inclusive. So, and on that, in 2025, the demand in the affordable housing space will still continue to increase because the population is increasing. Then also, when it comes to the tourism, hospitality sector as well. So there's been a lot of attention on Lagos especially in terms of our entertainment industry, tourism attractions, and a few others. So we'll see more development in that aspect. Then hopefully we hope that the office buildings will also pick up as co-working space, tech hub, remote working locations, some of the form of trends that are growing now. Then additionally, in 2025, one of the most neglected sector in real estate in Nigeria particularly is the purpose-built student housing sector. So we actually do not have like a well-organized student housing environment or community. Countries like South Africa and even Kenya are doing better as regards that. But hopefully, like for example, our own organization will be looking deep into that aspect. So such a way that we'll be able to nurture the coming generation. And
so that could be a form of investment for some individuals,
yes,
perhaps in this year, even though it's really capital intensive and sensitive.
Yes, that is good. The help of technology is going to change that narrative. And the reason why I said that is that currently the use of blockchain technology to tokenize real estate, that is we translate physical assets, which is real-world assets, on the blockchain to make it affordable, such that people can invest in fraction. You don't have to have all the million naira before you invest. So you invest based on what you can actually afford. So we see that especially for diasporas, because with the help of technology, irrespective of their location, they will be able to have access to invest back home by just a few clicks on their phone.
But you know, we've had a lot of not so good story in the real estate. People being duped and all of that. Now you want to make it virtual, tokenized and all of that. You need a lot of convincing to do to get people's buy-in.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. But one thing is technology revolution is something you can't stop. And technology revolution also brings a lot of advantages. Like last year, we saw that even top financial organizations across the globe have now started exploring the technology option because it brings speed, it brings liquidity, then it also brings affordability, then trust. So on that, I think the regulatory aspect is what will safeguard both investors and the developers. And the current leadership team of the Security and Exchange Commission in Nigeria, which is SEC, that is led by Dr. Agama, they've actually been interested in that sector to make sure that the bad actors are put away and just the good actors are well maintained. So I believe when there's a lot of diligent regulatory oversight, then the curb of fraud and some of the inconsistency in the future, in the past rather, will be well corrected.
So how does it work, the tokenized real estate?
Okay, all right. It's simply like, let's assume this building we are in is worth $1 billion, is an assumption. But before now, maybe middle class or high net worth individual, let's say 5 billion, who are the ones who can actually afford to invest in such, or institutional investor. But with the help of tokenization, the building is being fractionalized into smaller units such that retail investors can be able to participate. But apart from that as well, before now, traditional real estate such as REITs and private REIT and public REITs usually have a long period of waiting, like 5 to 10 years. But with the help of tokenization, people can pull out liquidity in a faster manner, and they can actually trade the shares of their real estate in 247, be it weekend or weekdays, and irrespective of their location in the globe, they will have access to invest in such opportunities and also have access to pull out their liquidity whenever they need their
Does
fund.
this eliminate the challenge of CFO and getting governor's consent and all of that? Because that is also a deterring factor in real estate investment.
Yes, in Nigeria, Nigeria is a very peculiar terrain, and the traditional parts are not being side-looked, they are not being excluded. So what is that? Before we get to the digital points, there are a lot of due diligence that go into play, such as the title search, such as running the numbers and the financials, then also dealing with the right developers to ensure that all parties are well being protected. So when the required legal paperwork and due diligence has been done, so that's when we then move it to the digital space. So we don't look away from the traditional bottlenecks, but with the advent of technology, all of that are resolved such that you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. Let's say before now you want to invest in real estate, you identify a building and you put maybe 50 million in that building. That's a single whatever. You can wake up tomorrow and they tell you it's on a government property, the place will be demolished, or you have a tenant that is not responsible. But with the advent of tokenization, that same 50 million, you can spread it into 10 and invest in different classes of assets. Like say 10%, 5 million is going into office building, 5 million is going to student housing, 5 million into residential. So that way you diversify your risks, and we also have a better cost averaging in the long run. So that's one of the advantages of tokenization. So it helps to diversify. Then additionally, it also assists in bringing in FDI, that is foreign direct investment, which means that foreign investors that seize opportunity here can easily have access to invest without having to come down, and you can do that just the same way you send mails on your phone and the other person get it at the next end. So that's,
but you still have to deal with the issue of the papers, that is a major one. So perhaps you have to work with the government, especially if you want the diaspora or the international markets to also be interested. But thank you so much for your time and sharing this opportunity with us, Mr. Tunde Olasukomi, Country Manager of Red Swan.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll head to the market, see what intraday numbers look like with Aniti Edit. Join us.